Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another exciting evening at ALR headquarters. So this is Tier 3, and the main question that I've got for you today is, will anyone be able to stop Yusuf? Yusuf is marching his way to the championship this season, and he seems pretty unstoppable to me. He's won 3 races, finished on the podium on 2 more, and scored points in the other one. So his lead in the championship is... let's have a quick look. He's got 117 points from 6 races, and his nearest rival, J. Rabe, didn't score any points, unfortunately, in the last race when Yusuf took the maximum 26. So he has 41 points behind. So really, in the second half of the season, what we need to see to keep the championship hopes alive is for J. Rabe to basically win a good 2 or 3 of the next 4 races, and Yusuf to have problems, because otherwise it'll be sewn up with 2 or 3 races to go. He's already got almost a 2 race advantage in his pocket, so he must be feeling pretty comfortable, pretty confident. Further down in the table, we've got Boomer, who missed the last round. He's still managed to keep hold of 3rd place. Identical to Jag Kings. They both got 57 points, and they both missed the last round, but no one's managed to overtake them. So yeah, they've got about less than half the points of Yusuf. And apart from that, we've got Will in 5th, who scored his first podium in the last race. Samit, who should really be a lot higher than 6th. He's got 36 points. Grayson has been quite a solid performer. He's got 2 P4s in a row to excuse me, to move up to 7th. And Zab seems to have recovered from a really rocky opening race in Baku to score every single round since then. And he's the only person, apart from Yusuf, to have done that. So really good consistency from Zab, and expecting another top 10 result for him today. And then further down, we've got Igor, who I think is back after a 3-race absence. Haider, who is our host today, so he's definitely continuing his racing streak, where we would hope that he can build on his P2 last time out. He could have won Austria as well, but he had a little bit of a mistake later in the race and finished 8th, DNF'd in Texas and got a 2nd place. So that's the top 10. And as far as the Constructors' title goes, Ferrari are running away with it. They've got a 48-point lead over AlphaTauri. So Ferrari have Yusuf and Samit, and AlphaTauri have J. Rabe, who's in P2, and Zab, who, like I said, has got 5 points finishes in a row. So really contributing well to the Constructors. They're the only 2 teams that are in with a shout, to be honest. Excuse me. So yeah, we're in Hungary today. It's always a good track, always throws up some interesting results, because the strategy plays a big part. Overtaking is incredibly difficult. There is a high chance that it could rain, and by rain I mean like really rain. Just gonna read. Why don't I sing God Save the... It's God Save the King now, actually, Urminator. We've got a king now. King Charles III. The Queen is dead. Long live the king. But that's all I'm going to say about that, because I'm not really a monarchist. So, as I wait for the telemetry to come through, because I'm really interested in seeing what the weather's going to be like. So, the weather for short qualification: overcast, overcast, overcast for the whole time. 24% chance of rain. As for the race, we have an even lower chance of rain. So 13% at the beginning, and then it drops down to a 7% chance of rain. Cloudy at the beginning and sunny at the end. So everyone will be running a dry setup. There won't be much to report from, really, in terms of tyre strategy. Everyone will be out on softs for every single run in this qualifying session, and I'll be interested to see what they do in the race, because softs in the last game did not last very long at all, and in this game, tyre wear seems to be a bit more difficult, and the strategy seems to be a bit more leaning towards the hard tyres. Let me just sort out the telemetry before we start following some decent cars around. Map data, track map, full map. So there is a... Chris T looks like he's the first one on track, so let's follow him around and commentate on how well he tackles his first run. And then behind him is Yusuf, so we'll be jumping straight to him afterwards because I'm expecting him to go top of the times. Again, I think he's got 3 pole positions already this season, so not only is he dominant in the race, he's dominant in qualifying as well. He's kind of having a Sebastian Vettel kind of style season back from his Red Bull days, if anyone remembers that. We decided on Charles also being called the Queen as it's already become natural. I know, it's going to be weird. We're going to have Prince Charles, well, King Charles's face on our coins now. It's going to... I don't know how I feel about that. Right. Chris T approaches turn 1, hits the apex nice. It's really important to get on the throttle as early as possible. And it looks like he's done that. Really tricky turn 2. I think it's turn 2. Might be turn 3. And then yeah, the trick for this one is to take it at full throttle, which he manages to do. And then this really fast left-hander here is quite difficult to get right. He doesn't take the apex fully, but just manages to avoid invalidating his lap by keeping one tyre slightly on the track. Takes this little chicane in second and comes out in third for traction. Does he hit the apex? Yes, he does. This is a really tricky, probably the most tricky part of the track to get right. These 2 corners and the next couple that are coming up. Brakes before this one. Some people just lift, but he decided to brake. Down to third for this one. Easily takes the apex. A bit slow coming out of that corner though. And second gear out in third. Really tricky not to spin it coming out of this corner. And this corner is also one where you can spin. And he, pretty tidy lap, comes across the line. 117.5. What does Yusuf do? 116.5, so that's half a second because Christie actually got a 117 flat, not a 116.5. Bang Average Seb has invalidated and has come back into the pits. Boomer is third, 4 tenths down from Christie and 9 tenths down from Yusuf. And we've got Samet is just starting his lap, so let's follow him as other people finish their laps. Nice Face Dude goes in P4, Zab goes in P4 ahead of Nice Face Dude. But yeah, let's commentate on Samet's lap because he has been pretty fast in qualifying. It's just he's not managed to have the best of luck as Avinash goes in P5. He could do a lot faster than that. Avinash is still winning the Tier 5 championship, by the way, despite being in Tier 3 for 3 races now. Yep, so he takes that corner in third gear and comes out in third, whereas Yusuf took that chicane in second. Not Yusuf, Chris T, I beg your pardon. So he sets the fastest middle sector, but is it the fastest middle sector? It isn't. Yusuf's got all 3 fastest sectors. Samet's lap times are pretty decent though, so he's about half a second behind Yusuf in those first couple of sectors, so I'm expecting him to slot into third place here. And he does, on a 117.2, not a bad first effort. So Ferrari 1 and 3 at the moment, the Constructors' title leaders. And let's see, everyone's in the pits on an out lap. So let's follow Haider, because Haider finished P2. Let's see what he can do with his first flying lap. He's waited a little bit to set it. I wonder if he was out and had a problem or invalidated and came back in. Probably not. I don't think that would have been enough time for that. While waiting for Haider to start his lap, I'll just remind you that we do have some sponsors sponsoring Aero League Racing. We've got Aniba.com, which is a great little website if you want to get discounts on things like PS vouchers. So you can basically buy games at a discount if you just buy the vouchers first. We're also sponsored by Driver 61, which a lot of these guys might be saying need some lessons from. Basically, they teach you how to do sim racing and real life racing as well. So definitely go check out Driver 61 and Aniba.com. So Haida hit the apex on the first turn, didn't use the full width of the track on the exit. We've got a yellow flag out there, but I don't think it'll impact Haida's lap. Let's see how he does at the end of this. He did hit the apex. There's a car slow in front of him, but they're going nice out of the way, so it shouldn't have distracted him too much. He takes that corner really well, and it says he's done the fastest first sector, but he is 2/10 down from Yusuf, which is... Oh, no. Is he going to retire? No, he manages to keep it out the wall. However, he would have been top 5, definitely, based on that first sector. He was doing pretty well, but he was just pushing too hard, unfortunately. Let's join Shkone, who is also the only other driver on a lap. He doesn't take as much as the curb on the inside. His first sector is... Well, he was actually a 10th quicker than Haida, so he's really in with a shout of being high up on the grid today if he can replicate that in these next two. He takes that chicane pretty well, I would say, and he's hitting the apexes really nicely in this tricky infield section. As there's another yellow flag out there at turn 1. Looks like a bit of a coming together between two drivers, I'm not sure. So, his middle sector, 27.6. That is 3/10 slower than Yusuf's middle sector, so I'm expecting him around about the top 5 mark. As Saeed goes 5th, which I didn't notice. That was a pretty good effort from Saeed, much improved on last week already in qualifying. And Shkone goes P3 on a 17 flat, just like Chris T managed and Yusuf. Let's rejoin Chris T because he's on another fast lap. Let's see if he can go a bit quicker. In his first sector, he was half a 10th quicker, so he needs to find a lot more than that if he's going to trouble Yusuf today. So he goes through that sector a little bit slower than we saw Shkone do a few moments ago. Chris T for pole this week? Yes, it could happen. It could actually happen this week, unlike last week when he absolutely, well, I think it was the curse of you guys being here watching him, to be honest. But yeah, I'm not going to commentate his curse. Slimmy Cam goes P2 whilst we are watching Chris T finish his lap. Very good effort from him. As the Naked Champ, who's back after a couple of weeks, slots into P8. So Chris T manages to get back up to P2, so he only improves by about a 10th on his lap, but it is enough, and he sets the exact same time as Slimmy, but for some reason he's ahead of him, which is even though he set his lap after him. So in real life he'd be behind Slimmy, but this game is a bit different. Let's join J Raber. He's P2 in the championship. He's just started his lap. He needs a really strong week this week. Oh, and Haida's retired on track. There he is. Oh, what a shame. Haida will be starting at the back. So, how much curb can J-Ray take on this corner? Oh, he goes really slow. That is not how you take that corner, man. There's yellow flags all over the place. Right, he takes this in 3rd gear, just like a few of the other drivers did. Very low revs, very high gears on the infield section. And maybe, I'm wrong, maybe this is a quick way of going around. So far, oh, he's 2 seconds down, he's 3 seconds down. Let's move on to Nice Face Dude. He's currently not doing too well. He showed a lot of pace last time out in Miami, but didn't get the result that he wanted because of a couple of incidents that he unfortunately got himself involved in. I think there was a spin in there as well. He's coming towards the end of his lap. He has to improve from an 18.6. He has set a much faster first and second sector, so I would hope that he gets into the top 10 here, as he's revving really high, as there is a spinning AlphaTauri, which hopefully didn't distract him too much. And he does improve, but stays 13. Samet, what can Samet do? Ooh, he nearly invalidated just as we joined him. Yusuf is a little bit ahead of him as well, but we won't focus on Yusuf because he gets all the screen time at the moment because he's so dominant in this league, and he's already in P1. But let's see what Samet can do. Can Samet get closer? And in his first run, he got to P3, and a few drivers have got ahead of him. He's really wide there, hasn't invalidated somehow. It says he's gone purple, but he hasn't. Yusuf is still the fastest. He is about 3/10 off Yusuf at the moment. So hopefully he doesn't lose too much time in this final sector as he goes quite wide on the entry to take a tight line on the exit. And he goes... stays in P6. I don't know if he improved or not. I couldn't see anyone else on a lap. J-Ray-Bay's come out of the pits again because his lap didn't go the way he wanted. Let's look at Will. He's not really set a representative time yet either. He got his first podium of the season last time out, remember? He got P3 in Miami, so he's riding on a high at the moment, but he needs to do a lot better than P14 in a track where overtaking is far more difficult than in Miami. Oh no, he's bailed out. So, anyone on a lap? Schroen, is Schroen on a lap? Yep, Schroen's just started. Let's see what he can do. P4 at the moment is pretty impressive. Still half a second behind Yusuf though. And his Sector 1 time, I'll tell you in a second. So, a 27.4. Oh no! Always hate it when I catch their spins on stream because it's quite embarrassing, but, well, for them, not for me. I quite enjoy it, not gonna lie. So, anyone else? No one's on a lap. Is Seb on a lap? Seb. Oh man, Seb's having a bad time this season. He's had a lot of spins. I'm not sure if he's scored any points yet, but if he has, it's not too many. And he's at the back of the grid, unfortunately. We don't have RDO and we don't have Reaper, who we usually qualify as ahead of. So he is we're at risk of having an all Mercedes back row here. J-Ray-Bay has started a lap again. Let's see what he can do this time around. That's much more like it. So he's 2/10 up on his fastest time, and he's 2/10 down on Yusuf's fastest time. So already doesn't look like he's going to be troubling Yusuf's time, but if he can nail these next two sectors, he could easily slot himself into P2 because there's such a big gap between 1 and 2 at the moment. Oh yes, he took that corner really well. And he's 6/10 up now. So on course to slot in right into P2. This might be his last run though. He might have enough time if he's really fast to get back in and back out again. But this could be his last chance, so he really has to nail this final corner. He goes and hugs the inside at the beginning of the corner and takes a wide exit. And he actually gets pole position! What an amazing final corner! And if there's any doubt on how you take that last corner, I think you just need to look at J-Ray-Bay's lap that we have just watched again. Because that clearly, he's found... Let's have a look. He set the fastest middle sector by about 1/10 quicker than Yusuf. And the final sector, he was 1/10 quicker than him as well. So it's over to Yusuf now. Let's see what he can do. He's halfway through what is absolutely his final run. And he went 1/10 faster in his first sector, and he pretty much set the same second sector. So he needs to set a 21.8 in this final sector, which is what J-Ray-Bay managed in order to retake first position. It's going to be so tight. And it's not tight, actually. His final sector, he was about 1/10.5 quicker than J-Ray-Bay. So he gets pole quite comfortably there. Chris T, his qualifying's finished. What can Saeed do? He is the highest placed driver on a lap right now. And he's not. Maybe he's going to try next lap. Is Naked Champ on a fast lap? The returning Naked Champ. So he's 2/10 quicker, so he might get one position out of this. Really, really wide in that corner. That's not what you want. He broke a bit too late. And he's wide on the entry, and he's taking a tight exit. What can he do? Yeah, P8. What about Grayson? Grayson has had 2 P4 finishes in a row. He's taken a wide entry and a wide exit, as there is a spinning Haas. That's my space dude whose qualifying's not going well. Grayson doesn't improve. Anyone else we can join? No one who's currently on a hot lap. Boom has just started his final flying run, who I haven't talked about much today. Boom is P3 in the championship. took a week off last week because he was on holiday, and now he's back. And he needs a better qualifying position than P6 if he wants to continue any pressure on the top 3. Unfortunately, we don't have Jag Kings, who is his closest rival in the championship at the moment. Some people have only just started their outlaps, which is incredibly ambitious. I don't think they'll have enough time. As Boomer backs out of it. Is he going to try one more time? I don't know. He obviously wasn't improving. Sean is a lot slower on... Oh no, that was Boomer, was a lot slower. Sean set pretty much the same first sector. He was 2/100ths down. So what can he do in this middle sector as we go into the very tight chicane? Sean puts a lot higher revs as Yusuf has retired in the garage. Sean takes these corners in much higher revs than some of the other drivers, which might be an indication that he's on full traction control. And he's almost a 10th up on his time, which in theory will get him P3 if he can nail this last sector though. Could do a little bit better. Ooh. Well, I don't know what just happened to him there. He must have span and the game didn't realise. Well, that's his qualifying over. Anyone else? Bang Average Seb has managed to get 7th. After his struggles this season in his spin, it must feel good to be in the top 10. Slimmy Cam is on his final lap. He's been pretty quick. I think he's only set 1 time so far as we're on our final laps now. He is he's invalidated. Let's look at J Rebe, the only man I think who can challenge Yusuf. As he finishes the first sector, he is down on his own time and he's invalidated. Slimmy's invalidated. Boomer is on a lap. Is he faster? That's the question. He's a 10th faster in the first sector. He's just over a 10th faster in the second sector. But it's a shame because these tyres aren't as fresh as everyone around him. So he's going to probably lose a 10th or 2 because of the degradation around this circuit. But can he improve by... Oh no, pushing too hard. Lots of mistakes this qualifying session as he reverses over the finish line. You need to be careful, you can get disqualified, I think, for that. Seb is 17 seconds behind. Saeed is 28 seconds behind. So qualifying's over and this is your lot. So we have Yusuf on pole once again. His closest championship rival, J Rebe, has managed to get P2. Chris T, much improved on the previous races, is P3 on the grid. Excuse me. And Slimmy Cam P4. He also, I think he was 3rd in Miami qualifying, but got a terrible start. Shlomo P5, he should be pleased with that. Boomer P6 after that last lap spin. Bang Average Seb P7, he should be pretty pleased. Sam at 8th, I expected more from him personally. Naked Champ 9th on his return. Zab P10, which is pretty standard qualifying position. Saeed managed 11th in the end, didn't improve after his mid-session time. Is there a way to get the telemetry that the comms have? Unfortunately not. You have to pay extra for the telemetry, so we only have a certain number, so the commentators look at them. But to be honest, it's not a good thing for the racers to have because you can't look at the telemetry when you're racing. It's really useful for us to see who's on fast laps and stuff like that in qualifying. That's what I really like it for. But every racer does get race reports at the end of their races to give them an in-depth breakdown of how their race has gone based on the telemetry that we've managed to get. So yeah. Just to finish, so we have Haider starting last, Nice Face Dude, Avinash, Will, Grayson, Saeed, and then Zab, who I mentioned was 10th. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next. So Yusuf has the fastest first sector time, J Rebe had the fastest middle sector, and Yusuf had the fastest final sector. Less than 3/10 separated them. And then there was a big gap between the top 2 and P3, which is pretty much how the championship has gone as well. So as for strategies in this race, If I were J-Ray, I would be trying incredibly hard to be first after turn 1, to be honest. We can't let Yusuf run away with it, and if Yusuf can get shuffled down the pack a little bit with a bad start, then anything can happen, especially in the tight, twisty corners that we have here. High likelihood of safety cars if mistakes are made. Strategy is really important when you pit for the tyres, is crucial, because if you can get track position, you're laughing, essentially. So we got our formation lap. Let me just sort out telemetry whilst we do that. We don't need TV pod anymore because it's not qualifying. Yeah, intervals, details. Let's look at position change for the start, because actually let's have a quick look at tyres. Everyone's on mediums apart from Boomer and Nice Face Dude. I personally would have gone for the softer tyre because the safety car is probably going to come out and ruin the hard tyres' chances, to be honest. And if this game's anything like the last game, the hard tyres will do the entire race, no sweat. So you could potentially pit lap 1 if the safety car comes out and then just hold position at the front if you have the nerve to do so. So position change, telemetry, let's have that on. Lap data, of course, full track map. Yeah, looks like we're good to go. So another quick look at the weather, because we are on approximate weather. It could change. No, it's the same as before. So I think that's Yusuf's 4th pole position this season. Insane. Ferrari wish they could control races like Yusuf does. We're also going to have a special Ferrari livery on the game, I think, if what they were saying in the Discord chat is anything to go by. By the way, if you are watching and you're not part of the Discord chat, the link should be in the description, so go ahead and click on that and get involved. Yep, so that should be coming to the game, just like we had a special Red Bull livery last season, so that should be nice. Although it's just a little bit of yellow added to the back of the car. So let's do some predictions for the race. These two, top 2, definite podium positions. The Slimmy and Seb get a disqualification for missing their grid slot. As does Boomer and Nice Face Dude. Looks like we're all here. I'm going to follow J-Ray for this start to see how good he does. Hopefully he doesn't get bogged down. And the lights are out in Hungary. And we have a terrible... Here we go. So it looks like J-Ray had a great start, and he's pretty much alongside Yusuf. He's alongside enough to do a move and try and get the apex, but Yusuf closes the door, and now Slimmy will be challenging J-Ray as we have some drivers getting close towards the back. Yep, Slimmy manages to take P2. This is not the start that we needed for the championship. J-Ray shuffles himself down to P3, and Yusuf already has an 8/10 lead, as it looks like Boomer and Samit are fighting in the run-up to this very tight left-hander. Boomer manages to win that fight, as we have a bit of lagging going on. Zab has managed to get past Chris T. Grayson's had another great start. He does really well in the races, even when he doesn't do good in qualifying. He's up 5 places already. And what's happened to these guys near the back? So Bang Average Seb is still with the pack, as is Naked Champ, as is Nice Face Dude. Don't see any damaged wings, so we'll see if anyone comes into the pits. But at the moment, it is all Yusuf. He is over a second ahead of Slimmy already, and he will be trying his best to build up even more of a lead over these next few laps so that DRS doesn't come into it. Ashkone overtakes J-Ray. What happened there? He must have made a mistake, because that is not an overtaking part of the track. Ashkone is second behind Slimmy as well. Grayson is trying his luck on Boomer, who's on the hard tyres. So Grayson will want to overtake him as quickly as possible. Doesn't manage to do so, and he will have to wait. But let's follow this little battle for a while. So the big winners so far are Grayson and Hyder, who's managed to get up into P11. Big losers, Chris T started 3rd and is 9th. And Seb and a Naked Champ have dropped all the way to the back. But the pack is still pretty tight, apart from Naked Chap and Nice Face Dude have fallen behind a little bit. Whoa, Samet is looking very aggressive there on J-Ray, who seems to be falling back at the moment. Let's just change, instead of positions, change to tires. So we are about to enter the first lap with DRS. But the funny thing about this track is lap 3 is also a non-DRS lap because the detection zone is before the start-finish straight. Or it was at least in the last game. I'm pretty sure it's the deal here. So you won't see any flaps open. Wait. Grayson does get the move on Boomer done. Doesn't need DRS for it. And now he can just focus on catching up with... Yep, see, no DRS open. You just focus on catching up to Samet throughout the rest of the lap. Boomer's very close behind at the moment still. Is he going to try something? No. Boomer's far too sensible to try something in that corner. Yes, come on, Boomer. Well, you know what? He's the highest hard runner. Even though there's only 2. So... It could come good for him if everyone pits to and then a safety car comes out. Everyone's been really sensible so far. Naked Champ is the only one who's had to pit for a new wing, and he's on soft, so he'll be setting fastest laps pretty soon, I imagine. Let's join the battle with Samet and J-Ray, because J-Ray is just about out of Schoen's DRS, although he's just got back into it now and out of it again. So will he have DRS? And if he doesn't, Samet's going to probably use this 63% of the ERS he has to try and get a move done. Well, J-Ray doesn't have it. Samet does have it. So he's going to close up here to under half a second. And if he gets a good exit here, he might be able to put on a move, but he's probably a bit too far behind as we've got a lagging Schoen ahead of them, which... might be a bit of a reason why J-Ray is giving him a bit of distance. So, that might have been Samet's best chance because J-Ray is now within 8/10 of Schoen. And Slimmy has spun from P2. What a good position. And the safety car is out already. What a shame. There's no drivers out. That was all due to Slimmy spinning in a really dangerous position. So Yusuf's hard work has been for nothing. Unless he decides to pit. But the thing is, if he pits now and tries to do the strategic thing and go to the end on hards, he's going to be in 15th place. Unless a lot of other people pit. So Yusuf currently has the fastest lap, by the way. He's set a 1:20.2. And he's got every sector, which is the fastest as well, which isn't a surprise. So he hasn't pit. Is anyone else going to do a gamble? Schoen doesn't. J-Ray decides to stay out. So does Sam. Boomer. We don't have... Oh, we have Avinash is taking a gamble. This is what I like to see. And Slimmy, obviously, who's broke his wing, manages to avoid a 5-second penalty. So, am I right? Is he going on hards? Yeah. So, hards to the end is potentially a really good strategy. I mean, he wasn't in the top 5, so you might as well take a gamble for the glory. Oh, not like that. Well, he didn't crash, but I don't know what happened there. He can't have been concentrating. Slimmy comes out as well, just behind him, so even though he had a spin from P2, he's still in the race, there's still a lot to play for. And Naked Champ has also come in, which is a good idea, because his softs wouldn't have lasted too much longer anyway, and he's going to try hards, probably until the end as well, so let's see how they go. Does it favour... I would say it favours Boomer at the moment. I'd say it favours Nice Face Dude as well, but no more than the other 3 that are on fresh hards because he was at the back. Because the lead that the 4 in front of him managed to establish, well, only Yusuf managed to establish a real lead, has been completely negated. Which means that he'll have he'll probably, when he pits, he'll come back out in last when he pits for hards because of this safety car. Because we're going to have it out for at least another lap after this one. Because Naked Champ's really far behind at the moment. But I'd still say he's still my favourite to win the race. Because his pace is just on another level compared to these guys. Methinks he will be in Tier 1 in Season 11. He's actually in 5th in the ALR rankings as well, which no Tier 3 drivers ever managed to achieve. So that just goes to show how dominant he's been. And he was really good last season as well. He got tons of pole positions, but he didn't manage to convert them in the race last season like he has done this season. But a lot of those Tier 3 guys have moved into Tier 2 and Tier 1 as well. So there is the argument that potentially the competition is a bit lower this season. But also it's a new game and people adapt to new games differently, so there is that as well. But yeah, credit to everyone for still being in this race. Unfortunately, we've only got 16 this time around because a couple of drivers have moved tiers, and one of the owners, I think, is just fed up of racing. He's gone back to GT, which I'm going to say very quietly, but GT7 is a superior game to F1 22. We do have a GT7 league, by the way, so if anyone is interested in joining that. We also have a ACC league as well, but that's PS5 only. So if you've got PS5 and play ACC, or if you play GT7 on any PS console, feel free to join and sign up. Right, safety car in this lap. Let's see what Yusuf can do. He's nailed a lot of the safety car restarts that he's done so far this season, of which there have been many. This might not even be the last safety car restart that he starts this race. Let's see. But yeah, he's got the knack right for when to go and when to catch people out. Sean is really close behind, and J-Ray is really far behind at the moment. And he's span? He's span again, and his championship hopes just slipping away with every lap that goes by, to be honest. So we're off, and Sean is pretty close and catching up to Yusuf, but he's a bit too far behind, and he's defending from Samet, who's managed to get himself into P3, and now he's in P2, but can he hold it on the inside? He can't. Oh, it's so close, and Yusuf didn't get a good exit on that corner either. And Boomer's right behind them all as well, as we've got Seb and all the way to the back on his mediums. He must have had a mistake. Ashkona span. I don't know if they were all just a bit too close to each other. Am I going to have to deal with some stewards reports? Probably. And we've got yellow flags out because of it. But it's a Ferrari 1-2 at the moment. And Boomer has managed to get a great restart. He's currently in a podium position. He's the highest hard runner. He will have to stop for mediums, but if another safety car comes out and he can do that under safety car conditions, then he'll be laughing. We're only 7 laps into the 35-lap race, though, and we've had quite a lot of incidents. No retirements, fortunately. A bunch of races ruined. It looks like Will and Chris T have been involved in something because they're really far back. And Bang Average Seb, unfortunately, as well. Avinash has managed to get into P9 and Slimmy P10, though, after they did the gamble of pitting. Well, Avinash chose to gamble and Slimmy had no choice but to pit. So Yusuf already has a 1 second plus advantage over his teammate. If I was Yusuf, I'd want to drag Samet along as much as possible and maybe slow down a little bit so that we could guarantee a good constructor's position. But he needs to think about his own race as well. He doesn't want to come out in any more traffic than he has to when he pits. And now there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hard runners behind him. 6 now because Will's pitted, but he'll probably come out ahead of Will. So are there any close battles? Avinash and Slimmy are really close together, as Nice Face Dude is the first person to get a 3-second time penalty in the race. Yeah, Yusuf has decided to just put his foot down, and he's already got a 1.5 second lead over Samet, so It's going to be a battle when DRS comes on to see how those medium tyres are holding up after 8 laps compared to Boomer's hard tyres, and if Boomer can get a move done. As Chris T is our first retirement. Looks like he came off, in the tight twisty section, just at the end of Sector 2 there. And we've got another safety car. So, who's going to pit? Oh, Zab's out. There's been a collision under safety car. What? Oh, that's definitely going in the steward's room. There's absolutely no excuse for a collision under safety car. So, all of a sudden, we're down to 14 drivers. Schoen and Seb go into the pits, which is definitely the right call. They're going to go on hard to the end. So now we've got an interesting conundrum for some of these drivers. Obviously, Boomer can't pit yet because he'd have to stop multiple times. But the other 6 of the top 7 could potentially, but they'll drop. Well, they'll only drop behind Avinash, Slimmy, and the Naked Champ, to be honest, if they pit. And anyone who doesn't pit, which they'd have an advantage over. So it could still be a good. No, they've all caught the safety car, so that's not going to happen. They'll drop all the way to the back. It's a really difficult decision. For Yusuf, it's no-brainer. You stay out. Probably the same for Samet, because you can build another bit of a lead whilst cars clash behind them. Boomer has to stay out. But J-Ray, Haider, Grayson, and Saeed have a bit of a conundrum. Do you go to the back and stay on the fresh tyres, or do you stay in the middle of the pack, really, and then hope something happens that works out in your favour? They don't have a good strategy at the moment. It's working out really nicely for Avinash. If he can maintain the lead position of the drivers that have pitted, he's got a good chance of victory here. The curse of being high up when a safety car comes out. That's what the top 7 are suffering right now. Because these drivers had absolutely nothing to lose by pitting. They weren't in the hunt, and they're trying to get themselves back in the shout for the win. I don't think Zab retired on track. I think he was taken out, Reaper. I can tell you, I can have a look at the telemetry, actually. Damage. Zab broke his left front wing. Zab broke his right front wing. It went from 0 to 100 damage. Zab broke his car. Send drivers remaining in the race. Yeah, he definitely. That definitely means that you retired due to a crash. Zab broke his car. It's very blunt. These guys need to stop pressing the start-stop button. This is not allowed. But, hey, I won't say anything. So, surely this is the last lap under safety car. No one else decided to pit. Saeed is going to be eaten up by the Avinash, I think, at the safety car restart. Now, this is going to be really interesting when we have a restart this lap, which I hope it's this lap, because we've got 2 Ferrari drivers, teammates. They're always teammates. They're actually friends, I think, in real life anyway. So how are they going to handle this restart to make sure that... Ooh, Boomer, don't get too far alongside. To make sure that they get a good restart. They don't come together, and they manage to leave Boomer in the dust, essentially. Now, J-Ray Bay spun on the last safety car restart, so let's hope he doesn't do the same again. Nope, he hasn't. So when is Yusuf going to go? He has to go really quickly because the start-finish line is at the beginning of the straight. And he's off, but Samet gets a poor start, and let's have a look at what can happen here. Can Boomer overtake him? He's protecting the inside line. Oh, he was inviting Boomer for a bit of a dive bomb there. As Haider manages to overtake J. Raybay in a great move there. Getting himself into 4th place now. He's worked his way up from last on the grid. Don't forget he didn't even set a lap in qualifying due to his retirement. J-Ray down to 5th from P2 on the grid. And Grayson 6th. And Saeed manages to keep 7th. As Avinash and Slimmy are battling. And they are going side by side into this corner. And I have a feeling it's not going to end well. Avinash goes wide. He keeps the inside of this corner. But Slimmy takes a really strong... Found lots of traction on the outside there. As everyone manages to get around this safety car restart a lot more sensibly than the last one. So now Slimmy has, I would say, what is net P1 of the race, despite his spin. And he's looking really racy, actually. And that was a great little battle between those two. It's so difficult as Slimmy gets a 3-second time penalty after all that hard work. So as we go around, Slimmy has already caught Saeed quickly after his battle with Avinash. Ooh, nearly went a bit too wide there. I wouldn't be using too much ERS here because he's not close enough to make a move. As Saeed goes defensive for no reason and costs himself time. Slimmy cuts that corner. Let's see what Grayson's doing. He's really close to J-Ray now. And Haida is really close to him. As we're now starting to see some gaps of over a second on the telemetry. Will gets a 3-second penalty. These penalties are going to come back to bite them at the end of the race because I have a feeling we're going to get at least another safety car. And usually the safety cars come with a couple laps to go. As Saeed is protecting the inside again. You don't need to do that. But maybe he's just paranoid of dive bombs, which I don't blame him. There's some drivers in this league. I haven't seen much in this tier, but in this league, they love a dive bomb. And they do get penalised fairly often in the stewards room as well. So this is the last lap without DRS. Well, technically, but there is the next lap where DRS is on, but we won't get any DRS during the lap, which I think is the stupidest thing that F1 does. Saeed's still protecting the inside. He's using all of his ERS to protect from Slimmy, who's got way more, and he's also... Oh, what's happening here? Naked Champ and Shone does have more pace, and that was a very good move to take P10 on his recovery. Now he'll have to try really hard to catch the pack in front, which is all very tightly packed. Samet has started his own little DRS train as Nice Face Dude has retired from the session. And there's another safety car. So the third safety car in 13 laps. Now, is this the time? You can't stay out much longer on these mediums. Boomer can't come in, I don't think. I don't think you can do 22 laps on the medium tires. But Yusuf and Samet, their tires must be... Actually, I'll tell you because I can see on the telemetry. So the tires, Yusuf's tires, the worst one's on 38%. So they're going to start to go off in the next few laps anyway. Is he going to pit? And is Samet backing up people? Because that is potentially a penalty if he is doing so. I didn't see what the gap was, but 6 seconds behind seems a bit excessive to me. Yeah, we have penalised for that before. So, Boomer is the only one that doesn't come into the pits. All the medium runners are into the pits. Let's see what happens with Yusuf. Where does he come out? Yeah, behind everyone who has already pit. Nice Face Dude has left the session. So yeah, J-Ray and Grayson both jumped Samet, so I don't know why he was... I don't know what he was playing at, holding everyone up, because it just made sure Yusuf got out in front of everyone, but he would have anyway, because he wasn't the one that would have had to wait. And Samet's obviously lost the same amount of positions that he would have lost anyway. Potentially more, because everyone was so close together, because he was going so slow. If he'd have sped up and tried to be as close to the delta as possible, he might have stayed ahead of Grayson or J-Ray, for example. So, I don't know. That's a bit of a master plan strategy from Ferrari, I think. And it could also end up in a penalty if it's reported to the stewards. I don't know. I'd have to rewatch the footage and double check what the rules are for this season. So we have a Williams 1-2 at the moment. Who'd have ever thought that? That's a good little turn up for the books. It makes a difference for the Ferrari domination. Wait, let me just see something whilst they're going around. Okay, surely this is the last lap on safety car. So hopefully, what I'm praying for is just a clean run until the end. I mean, this doesn't feel like reduced safety car to me. This feels like increased safety car on the settings. Because, I mean, one of them wasn't even a retirement. He just span and then he was ghosted. I don't know. This game's a bit frustrating at times. Safety car in this lap. So, for the first time, we are having someone who isn't a Ferrari, named Yusuf, restarting the race. He's in P7, so he's got some overtaking to do, because no one has to pit again, apart from probably Naked Champ, because he's on mediums. So when is Boomer going to put the hammer down, and is Slimmy going to try and overtake him, or is he going to play the team game? Because Boomer could really kickstart his championship right here in terms of fighting for it, and he's going really slow. And we're off, and everyone is so closely packed together, the entire grid. There's going to be changes further down. We've got Seb already up into P6. He's battling Yusuf, who is right in the crowd, and he's probably cacking his pants right now. And he's spun! Where is he? Oh, he's come out. He must have just had a half spin. He's in P10 now. He was started in P7. As we have Will, who's had a real spin. Oh, and now he's behind his teammate. Is his teammate going to play the game and let him overtake him so he can get on with his race? Or is he going to battle? That is the question. So, a really tentative restart there from Yusuf. As we've got Boomer in P1, Slimmy P2, Avinash has managed to get it to P3, but he's losing pace with the top two. Grace in P4, Shko in P5, and Seb has managed to get himself back up into P6. J-Ray 7th, so he's ahead of his championship rival, but he needs much better than a 7th by the end of this race, but definitely to beat Yusuf on track. And Yusuf is all over the back of his teammate right now. And this is where it's going to get done. Team orders, multi-21. Fernando is faster than you. I think that had a little bit to do with it. Hyder's overtaken Will all the way at the back. Hyder must have had a terrible restart. He's all the way down in 12th. He was running in 3rd not too long ago. So the Williams are running away with it. This is great news for Boomer, because Boomer, remember, still hasn't pitted. So really, Slimmy is the net leader of the race. But really, Avinash is, because Slimmy has a 3-second penalty. So Boomer is the only one who needs to pit. He needs to build up a nice gap here so that he can go on to the mediums and have pace advantage over everyone else. He'll need to do some overtakes on track, absolutely. Unless there are incidents further down that cost people a lot of time, but that would just probably bring out a safety car. So J-Ray Bay looks like he's all over the back of Bang Average Seb right now, so let's join them. Yes. Saeed is also all over the back of Samet, which is interesting. J-Ray gets the move done on Seb, but Seb is going to have the inside and it's not working, and now Yusuf is banging wheels with him. And he gets the place before the final corner. DRS enabled, but remember it won't be on for the next lap, so don't expect to see any flaps flying open until the next lap. Yeah, Yusuf is just one place behind his championship rival right now, who is cut off. And what's happened to the Naked Champ? He's still going. Please don't do a safety car. He's on the track. He's going again. No dramas here. Right, let's rejoin the lead. Boomer has a 4/10 lead. Slimmy has a pace advantage with tyres that are 4 laps younger. And he's probably just going to chill in his DRS until Boomer comes into the pits and then put the hammer down. That's probably what I would be doing, as Avinash continues to lose pace to them. So he's 2 seconds over behind Slimmy now. Saeed has started to lose pit positions as well after battling with Samet the previous lap. So let's join with Grayson, because Grayson will want to get an overtaking move on Avinash done as quickly as possible. He's got much fresher tyres, and if he can potentially win this race, because he'd be a net P1 if he can stay within 3 seconds of Slimmy. So he's using some of his ERS. He is closing in. He might, maybe if he'd used more ERS, he could have had more than just a half look down the inside there. But is he going to try and get a move done into turn 3? No. Next, so we have to wait another lap, probably, for some action, because those are the 2 main overtaking points, unless there's a mistake made. And this is great news for Slimmy, and for Boomer, who have more cars stuck behind Avinash, who has 14 lap old tyres, so definitely doesn't have a pace advantage, as Naked Champ is in the pits and Saeed gets a 3-second time penalty. Look how close Grayson is. He's staying within 4/10 around the entire lap, basically pushing Avinash along. And Grayson's pretty much doing, and Sean's basically doing the same to Grayson. So this is going to be his big chance. Avinash has slightly less ERS. Grayson needs to use every bit of his grip around this final corner to slingshot himself into a good position going into turn 1. He's fallen just behind, 4/10 behind. He's using all of his ERS. He's got DRS as well, as Bang Average Seb span, you could just see. And he backs out of it as there is another safety car. 4 safety cars. And what's happened to Slimmy? What's he doing? Why is he stopping? He's letting everyone through. Well, he didn't let Saeed through. What's he doing? Why is he doing that? Very strange. He must have spun, but... Well, so... let's see what Boomer's up to. So he's got a healthy lead over the rest of the field to pit, but he will come out at the back 100%. They're not far enough behind, as the Naked Champ pits again. This time he goes back onto hard tyres, 11 lap old hard tyres at that. Boomer's tyres could actually still go a bit longer. They're only at 40%. But there's no rhyme or reason behind doing that. Yeah, he's coming into the pits. So, congratulations to Avinash. Oh, is he coming into the pits? What's he doing? Why? Does he not think that his tyres can last? He's only on 30%. I just think that's a massive mistake. He's done 16 laps. They're on 30%. He needs to do another 15 laps. That's another 30%. So he'd be on 60% tyre wear. That's not bad. He's gone on to mediums. Oh, I just think he's scored a massive own goal there. So now, that changes the whole makeup of everything. So Boomer's managed to stay in the top 10 and not get overtaken by everyone because people have come into the pits. Hyder's decided to go on to softs, which I'm not sure is a good idea. Softs aren't going to do 15 laps unless he thinks there's definitely going to be another safety car, which, based on what's happened so far, is pretty much guaranteed. Let's have a look. Grayson is P1, and he's on fresher tyres than P2's shown. J-Rebe has managed, despite not having the best of races, I'll be honest. He's in P3. Yusuf P4, after his really dodgy safety car restart last time. And Slimmy, for some who should be P1 right now, is in P5. His tyres, what are they on? 36%. They can make it to the end, absolutely. He'll be very slow at the end, though. And this is 36, bearing in mind that we've only had a few laps of real racing, because the safety cars come out so many times. Yeah, I'm not feeling confident about Slimmy's chances of making the end of the race. And when the tyres start to wear, you know what happens? It's Spin City, isn't it? So I would say Grayson is currently the favourite to win this race. I don't know what he's like on safety car restarts, but he's managed to navigate 3 so far to get into P1, so he can't be that bad. Let's have a look at wing damage. Samet's got a bit of wing damage. I don't know. I think that's left wing. Yep. He's the only one with any damage. He's got 13%, so that's like a little bit of orange damage, which will be affecting him in the middle part of the lap in particular. But if he's had that for a while, well, he could have had it for 8 laps potentially, but it hasn't seemed to hold him back too much. Everyone else doesn't have any damage on their wings, but Hyder does have 16% floor damage, which, again, that's really not great because coming into the pits doesn't fix that. That was probably in the incident that put him all the way back in 11th as well. So I would imagine the safety car's coming in this lap. So will we get 12 laps of racing, 13 laps of racing? Or will we get another safety car? I think the maximum you can get of safety cars or virtual safety cars is 5. And we're on 4. Safety car in this lap. Nearly everyone who's still in the race is guaranteed to score a point as well. Everyone's on the lead lap, so no one's had such a disaster of a race that they're already a lap down, causing problems in the safety car because they can't unlap the safety car, which I think is crazy. So the safety car is in the pits, so Grayson can go whenever he wants. You need to slingshot yourself around this final corner. Yeah, he's got a great start. Oh no, he's actually being caught. A solid 3/10 is separating them. Slimmy and Yusuf very close together. Yusuf's really close to J-Ray Bay. Is going to try a move? No. The championship contenders really close together right now, as Slimmy and Samet are having a bit of a battle, but Slimmy has the inside, but you can overtake around the outside here pretty well. Slimmy, is he going to push him all the way to the outside? Samet. Ooh, he keeps... Yeah, that was always going to happen. Samet should have backed out there. And Will has retired as well because of that. Now we're going to get another safety car because of that. Oh, so from first glance, that was Samet's fault. He should have backed out going into that corner. He just kept a wheel in there. It'll be interesting to see if a car's width was left by Slimmy, though, because that is also something we take into account. As Hyder manages to get past Samet, who must... Yeah. It looks like he span as well. So does he have wing damage? Saeed has wing damage. Samet has wing damage. Slimmy has a tiny amount of wing damage, but that shouldn't be enough to pit. But his tires are also gone as well, so he will. Saeed is ghosting, or Naked Champ's ghosting. Is he... I don't know what's going on there, but Naked Champ is coming into the pits. Is he gone? Is he out of the session? I don't know. Let's rejoin the front anyway. So J-Ray, I've missed some big action. I do apologize. Sean is now the leader of the race, and J-Ray is second, and Grayson is falling down to third. But Yusuf remains fourth, so this is good news for J-Ray because he has a 6-point lead over Yusuf for this race, which means he'll close the gap by 6 points. He needs more than that, though, to bring the championship back on. Boomer is in 5th place on his fresh mediums, which is great news for him. He'll be putting pressure on Yusuf, actually, and getting involved that way, which could scarper Yusuf's chances as well. The top 5 are all very close together, and then there's a bit of a gap to Hyder, who's managed to recover once again to get into P6 at the moment. Boomer must be feeling the tyre advantage right now because he's so close to Yusuf. And he's got better ERS as well. The advantage of being the final person in a train is that you don't need to use all of your ERS like the other guys do to stay in front and to keep track position. But Boomer's using all of his ERS right now. He's going to have a... Oh, he backs out of it because Yusuf actually used all of his ERS. Boomer only used a little bit of his, beg your pardon. I thought we were following Boomer there. Perhaps if he'd used all of his ERS, he would have got Yusuf in that corner. But now he's got such an advantage because he's got double the ERS that Yusuf has. And DRS, I think, is it on? Have we been going for 2 laps already? I didn't see the notification. Right, it looks quite messy at the back. Lots of people are, well, huge gaps after the top 7, basically. So everyone's getting involved in some sort of incident or another. But these top 5 are incredibly close. Any little mistake is going to cost you multiple positions if you're in the top 3, basically. And Boomer really wants to take advantage of these fresh tyres whilst they're fresh. And Schroen has the oldest tyres of the top 5, and he's in first, so he's really going to bottle them up, and it could allow Hyder to close up and Avinash and cause a top 7 train, as it looks like Saeed has span on his fresh softs. So everyone's very close together. Grayson's having a move on J-Ray Bay, and it looks like Boomer's also going to have a move. Look, no, Boomer doesn't have a look. Grayson, is he going to be able to stick it around the outside as Boomer goes around the inside? 2 battles on the screen at the moment. J-Ray Bay moves up into second, and Yusuf and Boomer have crashed and retired. Oh, no. Oh. That is a very tricky corner to go too wide. And we're only going to have 9 finishes of this race. So everyone's guaranteed points if they can make it to the end now. Ooh, there's going to be some arguing, some crosswords probably in the chat, probably a steward's report. Not sure whose fault that was because too much was happening. I was looking at J-Ray overtaking Grayson as well. We got the safety car out for the 5th time, and hopefully the final time if what I know about this game is true. I don't think anyone will be pitting. Perhaps Samet, he's got nothing to lose. Saeed should pit as well. Actually, maybe not. I don't know how good the softs are. As he's probably got the safety car glitch because he's having to stop abruptly there. Oh, this has been a very dramatic... For a race that's had the safety car out most of the time, the racing that we've had has been dramatic. Slimmy's pit, that's the right thing to do because his tyres were on 50%. There you go, 22 laps, 50%. That's pretty good going. Most of those laps were under the safety car though. as we have now caught up with the safety car. God knows how long we'll be having to deal with this. So, as it stands, J. Rebe is going to close in by 18 points. Who's got the fastest lap? Let's have a look. The fastest lap still belongs to Yusuf, but he will not get a point for it because he's finishing outside the top 10. So J. Rebe was 41 points behind. If it ends like this, he will be, what's 41 minus 18? 18, 28, 38. 23 points behind, which is less than a race. So if the same thing happens again, and he also has the potential to win the race because he'll have tyre advantage and DRS when we eventually get it after 3 more laps of racing. So and slipstream as well, which is stronger on this game than it is in real life. So we've got a blockbuster end and the potential for the championship fight to really be reignited here. Oh, I saw Hyder just hit a wall, but he definitely didn't, which is weird because Hyder's the host, so there shouldn't be anything wrong with him glitching, but very strange. But he's still in the race, and he's managed to do, I think, 2 or 3 recovery drives at this point. Avinash, who was the net leader of the race, well, maybe pitting for those mediums has been a blessing in disguise because he stayed out of the fight. That caused 2 of our top 5 to retire, and now he's in the top 5 on mediums. 10-lap old mediums, though. Let's see. What percentage are those tyres on? Avinash is on 30% mediums, whereas everyone ahead of him is on about 30% hards. So maybe his tyre advantage will start... It will not... Well, they'll be about the same at the moment, I think. 30% is when you start to lose performance. Slimmy Cam's on 4% on his softs, which is great. Saeed's on 19% on his softs already, and we've done only laps under the safety car, so he's probably going to have to pit again. But we'll get going again this lap, definitely. Hopefully we'll have a 7-lap shootout now. Like a little mini sprint race to the end. No more safety cars. I mean, there's hardly enough drivers to cause more crashes, surely. Well, Yusuf's reign in the top 5 of the ALR rankings is going to be short-lived because with the DNF, he's going to unfortunately plummet down those rankings. Safety car in this lap. So I'm interested in what J. Rebe can do. Is he going to try and establish the lead straight away? Is he going to spin again? Because he's done that a couple of times already tonight. Sean's been very consistent and very quick as well. So I would definitely not rule him out. Let's see. What does the warnings look like? Neither of them have any warnings. As shown, he's not got going yet. They're going really slow. Very, very, very slow. Everyone's bunched together. This is not going to end well. Yep, Naked Champ is out because that's always what happens in these kind of safety car restarts. As J. Rebe is getting swamped into turn 1, Grayson manages to keep P2, but Hyder's really having a look, and Samet is up to P5. I'm sure he was a lot lower than that, as Avinash has dropped out of the top 5 already, and Samet looks like he's up to P4 now. He's battling really close with Hyder. Is there going to be a... No. They managed to get through that corner all right, as Shown keeps the lead, and they are line astern around this section of the track, which is very sensible because it's very hard to follow. You need a lot of faith. So, only 8 people scoring points today. And the top 7 are all very close. Slimmy's obviously had an issue, and he's 9 seconds back. Avinash is looking to... Well, Saeed's really pressuring Avinash on his much better and fresher tyres. And just as I say that, he has had a spin. But let's rejoin the front. So, Sean and Jerry Bay have the same level of ERS left as we go into the home straight. Is there going to be any moves into turn one? The top three are all very close together and everyone else is a bit more spaced out. But no, no one was close enough. Now, how is the exit? Grayson gets a bit of a worse exit. Jay gets a good exit. He's within quarter of a second now, but it's just not a long enough straight to try and get an overtaking move, especially when DRS is switched off. Now Hyder will be harrying Grayson in this section of the track as J-Ray Bay, he backs out of it. Yeah, he probably was just having a little look to try and put Sean off, but Sean is proving a very good and solid driver. He isn't spinning, he isn't making mistakes. Just like in Miami as well, where he did a great drive on a pretty bad tyre strategy, but this is the perfect strategy. He's got the oldest tyres, but he's in first place and he can't be overtaken. As he goes very wide there, is J-Ray Bay going to do something down the inside? He thought about it and he backed out at the last second as Hyder and Samet are battling in this corner, which is not an overtaking spot, as Grayson goes very wide and loses out to both of them. And they are battling again in the final corner as well. Hyder backs out of it and he's going to have a go now down the home straight. He's using all of his ERS. Samet has a lot less left. And top six is so close together. Just a reminder, there is actually no DRS this lap, even though it is switched on. So we might have to wait until the end of this lap to see J-Ray Bay really have a go. He's got 46%. Sean has 40% ERS left. Samet only has 22% as he's made a lot of progress up since the safety car restart. Hyder 45 and Grayson has the most, 56, and Avinash also has 56. So these two have a bit of an advantage on everyone else, and Avinash, like I said, if you're at the back of the train, you don't have to use as much ERS because you're not under threat from the car behind. As Samet looks like he's having a bit of a nosy at J-Ray Bay, but he's thought better of it because you cannot overtake in this part of the track. This is definitely a bit of an overtaking spot if someone makes a mistake, but no mistakes were made there. Now, can Grayson take this corner well this time around? He can indeed. Right, let's join J-Ray Bay. As Samet is so close to him as well. Either way, he needs to use ERS for the whole straight because he's at risk of getting overtaken here. Samet's got no ERS left. He's got the red light flashing as Sean defends the inside. J-Ray Bay tries to go on the outside and Samet gets it in there. Samet's getting boxed off though. There's nowhere for him to go. So he's going to try and go around the outside. J-Ray Bay makes a little bit of contact with Sean. And Samet's going to try and overtake both of them. Is he going to? Samet is your new leader. That is an amazing overtake. And Sean has gone from P1 all the way down to 4th after a really messy couple of corners. And Hyde has found himself into the podium positions again for the second time this race as Slimmy sets the fastest lap. So, now we've got 3 laps. Samet, let's have a look at what his tyres are on. They're on around about 30%, so they're going to start going off now. And when softs go off, they go off pretty quickly. So he's got to establish a second ahead of J-Ray Bay before the last couple of laps, I think, because I don't know. Their tyres are really old as well, though. Samet might have this sewn up as Slimmy spins. But we're all line astern. Any mistake is going to cost someone a podium position if they're in the top 3 right now. The slightest mistake, I mean. Not like a major mistake, a slight mistake. Everyone's so close together. And what's the ERS situation? There's not going to be any overtakes this time around. Samet has no ERS, and he's at the mercy of J-Ray Bay, so he's got to be perfect for the rest of the race if he wants to win. J-Ray Bay has pretty much no ERS. Hyder's got around about 40%, so things looking good for Hyder. Sean has pretty much nothing. Grayson still has 40%, so don't rule Grayson out. And Avinash still has around 40% as well, but he needs to dispatch Grayson if he's going to get any decent use out of it, essentially. Maybe they'll be saving it for the final lap, as there is another yellow flag for Slimmy. What's he doing? I guess he's trying to set faster slaps or something. So there are gaps starting to form. Sean was momentarily a second behind, and Haider has been momentarily a second behind. So he's got some work to do. As Saeed now makes a mistake as well. I don't know what he's doing. He's not got a front wing, but he is still in P7, so he wants to get himself going and finish this race if he wants those 2 precious points. But anyway, we're back on the main straight with the top group, and it looks like J Rebe is very, very close behind Samet. Can he get a move done? The door was left open, but he was a little bit too far behind to try anything. And it looks like there is daylight between them and Haider and Shkone as Slimmy is spinning again. I kind of want to see what he's up to, but I don't want to miss this good fight towards the end. So, what can J-Ray do? Samet has absolutely no ERS left. As you can hear my dog barking, just ignore that. So, Slimmy, he's spinning every other corner, and I don't know why. It's distracting, and I hope it's not on purpose, because it's affecting the race, potentially. Especially as cars are lapping him now. Anyway, Samet has managed to get an 8/10 advantage over J-Ray, so as we approach the final lap, it's not looking good for J-Ray in terms of getting the victory. He's closing in very, very, very quickly here. Now he's under 3/10 behind. This is really his final overtaking opportunity as Haider manages to keep Shkone behind him as well. Grayson gets a 3-second penalty, so he's lost out P5 to Avinash for sure. So the pressure is on Samet. We're used to seeing a Ferrari win, but it's his teammate, and this would be Samet's first win of the season. He should have got pole position in Baku, but he managed to get disqualified after a spin and beaching himself, I think. And he's had a lot of bad luck this season, but today, despite not everything going Samet's way, he's managed to make a really bold strategy call and go on to the softs whilst everyone stayed on hards until the end of the race, and it's worked out for him. He's just got one more corner where he needs to negotiate and navigate it. It's J-Ray! Oh, that was a bit cheeky, but nothing happens really, and Samet is your winner. J-Ray gets P2, Haider P3, Shkone, great drive on really old tyres, but he ends up with P4 after one dodgy sequence of corners where he lost out to the top 3. Avinash manages P5, a great result for him after his last race. Grayson P6. Saeed's going to get 7th after what was a bit of a topsy-turvy race, but at least he's scoring points, and you know, with these races that are wars of attrition, just making it to the end is a big achievement, because most of the grid didn't have the ability or the skill to make it to the end, I've got to say. It is a track where you can spin out quite easily. You have to be really careful, and racing side by side and being under pressure is quite hard, but you know, you got to give credit to the finishers where they'll be scoring lots of points. So, who is my driver of the day? That's a good question. There's a few of them, but everyone's made mistakes. I'd probably go with Haider, you know. Haider, and the game has gone with Haider as well, because I feel like strategy's messed him up a few times, and he still managed to get on the podium. Whereas everyone else, I think, made mistakes, and I didn't. Unless there was a mistake Haider made, and I've either forgotten about it or didn't see it. There's your winner. That is Samet. So, fastest lap went to Saeed in the end, so he does get the bonus point for that. And let me just go from the top to the bottom so that we can see all of our finishes. Boomer finished 10th and Naked Champ finished 9th. They do not score points. Slimmy, despite being a lap down, whatever he was doing at the end of the race, he still gets 4. And Saeed will get 7. And then it's just the usual points all the way to the top. So J-Ray, well, Samet really helped out his teammate there by winning the race and stopping J-Ray getting an additional 7 points. So the lead that Yusuf has is 23 points as it stands. But let's see what happens in the stewards. There was a lot of incidents that could be reported there. It's probably going to be a busy one, so we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, that's it for me. I'm going to end the stream there. So thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you next time.